This is Kristen Codes. I'm coding every day until I become a web developer, and we are working on the password generator. I got a lot of stuff done. I think yesterday it was mostly just the CSS, and then maybe I had a little bit of JavaScript that was going on, but today I went all in on the JavaScript. So I guess I could just put myself right here. Sorry about that. Um, let's see. So yeah, here we are with the JavaScript. I might as well just go from the top to the bottom and explain what's going on. I think that'd be a great use of uh, the time we have together today. So let's get into it. Okay. So in let's start from the top. We have the use string. Const slider equal document dot get element by ID. We're getting access to this slider right here, right there. Const password options container equal document dot query selector password options. Password options. That should be this one right here. I have it highlighted in green. And then I created a current strength variable and set it to 4. That's because I plan on allowing these 4 options right here to be true when the user first loads in. So it's just gonna start at 4. Const validation. This was supposed to be a validation object. I thought this is something that I might need to test whether or not something includes this or includes that. I think this would be better if I was doing like an entire form and then I could run the inputs into this validation object. But if y'all remember from the other episode, I created this object because I was trying to figure out, well, can we create an object that's just filled with functions, and then we can use those functions however we want. And so it turned out exactly how it was supposed to, so that works. Then I created another object, and that one is just going to hold the whether or not these are checked or not, whether it's going to be true or false. True for checked, and then false for unchecked. And then I created a method or a function. Let's create a function that determines how many are true. So what this function does is we have a variable. We're going to say the number of true equals 0, and then we're going to do object.values. We're going to use this object as the parameter, as the argument. Then we're going to do a for each on that, and for each value, if value equals true, number of true plus equals 1, return number of true. So essentially it's going to loop through all the values and determine which one is false or true, and if it's true, it's going to increment number of true to 1. And so then it'll let us know how many of the options are true, and we need that information because we're going to take the length of the complete password and divide that by the number of conditions that are true to kind of split the password that we're going to create into different. So essentially, if the password says, okay, it includes uppercase letters and it includes numbers, right? And it wants the password to be about 8 characters long. Well, the length of that is 8. The length of that is 8, and we're going to divide that length by the number of options that are true, which is 2, and then we get 4, and we're going to give 4 to each option. So it's going to create 4 uppercase letters and 4 numbers if those were the options that were true. Okay. Then I created another object, and this one actually placed, like, based on, how can I say it? Based on the value, it would randomly select ASCII values within a specific range based on the function name. So if it includes uppercase, that's 90 to 65. And if we come down here, 90 to 65. No, 65 to 90. What am I talking about? 65 to 90. So we can sell that's uppercase. And so yeah, that's uppercase, and the same for lowercase numbers and symbols. And so based on the value that we get from dividing the character length by the number of conditions that are actually checked or true, then we get the value for this, and we hold on. And we'll return a certain amount of characters based on that value. However, I'm trying to remember how I determined which one is false and which one is true. It must be right here. Populate characters. Let populated string equal true conditions equal password. Let number of characters per math.floor. Let remainder object.keys for each key. If okay, this is how I decided it. So in this populate characters, we created an empty string, which is going to be the future password. Then I created a variable called true conditions, which equals password conditions that I get number of true, and we already did that over here. Password conditions that I get number of true to see how many are true. Then we say number of characters per, which is going to be number of characters per condition, equals math.floor length divided by true conditions. And then we're going to say, not only do we want the number of characters, the whole number of characters per, but sometimes that's going to leave a remainder. Like in the instance that, let's say we have 10 a password with a length of 10, and then we have 3 conditions that are true. Well, if we did length divided by true conditions, which would be 10 divided by 3, we would get 3. But we still have a remainder, and that's when we do let remainder equal length modulus true conditions to determine what the remainder is. Then we're gonna say const total characters equal length, and I feel like I use that somewhere. I'm not sure if I use it. I might have to take this out. Let's see. Object.keys, password conditions. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is where we begin to iterate over the object. So I say object.keys, password conditions. So we're looping over the password conditions object, which is right here, the one that holds the true or the false values. We're iterating over the keys, and we're going to say that for each key we iterate over, we're going to say let r equal remainder, right? So like in the instance that there's a length of 10 and there's 3 conditions that are true. So we have 3 for each condition, and then we have 1 left over. So now we're going to say if password conditions, the key equals true, we're going to take that empty string, the populated string, the future password, and we're going to add password conditions function. So password conditions function, right? And we're going to add the key to it. And then the value that we're going to put in there is number of characters per +1. So in the instance, again, if it's a length of 10, a length of 10, 3 conditions that are true, we will then take this. We've got the key, number of characters per 3. So yeah, we just put the number of characters that we're going to have in each condition, the whole number, into the function in password conditions function. Then we're going to say, okay, let's add the remainder to it, right? So if the remainder is 1 or 2, we're just going to add that to it. So I need to rethink that, because if it's 2 and then we add 2 password conditions, yeah, okay. I'm glad I really went, because I think this is the thing that was messing me up, because I think it was adding too many characters on the end. So now I see that this R right here is not the best thing to have, because if the remainder is 2, then it'll just add +2 on that particular condition that we're on, and then subtract 1, so it's 2 and then 1, which is actually 3, instead of it just being 2. I'm gonna have to figure out how to change that. Either way, console.log populated string. This is when I was testing. So if I refresh the page, you can see this is, let's do 10, and then let's do 3, because that's the one I've been talking about. So let's just refresh the page. Okay, so at each step of the way, with each condition that's true, it'll print out a certain amount of letters. So you can see this includes lowercase. So it it was originally going to be 3, but then we added 1 for the remainder, so we get lowercase UYDH. And then we say this is from includes numbers. So here we are with the numbers. We have 9597 added to it, and then we say this is from includes symbols, UYDH 9597 / hyphen comma, which then 4 times 3, that equals 12. So we're way over. And the problem is the R. That R. And I'm glad, because I'm glad that was gonna, okay. Gonna fix that later. Okay. So let's see. Let's just keep going down. Populate characters, function slider value change, value, slider value dot text content equal value. That's this slider thing right here. Boop, 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 boop. Function box check value. We use a ternary function. If the value is true, current strength plus plus, current strength minus minus, console.log current strength is current strength function box checked value. Okay, and that's me using on input functions for the first time. So where we see box checked, if we go to the index.html and we look at the on input box checked, this dot checked, which I'm going to start using the on input property a lot more. Okay, so then we have function generate password. Hold on, what is this? Const new password equals if blank. I don't need this. Function random ASCII. If y'all remember from the last video, I was trying to figure out a way to what brought me to ASCII characters. I was trying to find a way to convert from ASCII to the actual letter, and then I think that's when I found, where is it? There should be, it was like it's like a string dot from something code. Here we go. This one. Character plus equal string dot from car code random ASCII 47 to 33. And this one is for symbols. So it's actually 33 to 47. And if we go here, you'll see that 33 to 47. But I think the problem was I was trying to figure out a way, and then I found that method that takes string dot from car code. Yeah, so it takes this value and then says, okay, based on this value, we're going to give you a particular character. So that's that. So after I created this, then I started creating or playing around with the function random ASCII. And I made one for each condition. So this is numbers, uppercase, lowercase, special characters. Yeah, so that's where I am so far. That's where we are so far. And I know sometimes these challenges take me, it looks like they're taking multiple days. Plus there's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I was doing Thanksgiving things. But I would rather do this slowly and methodically. Like I was really, hold on, let me see if I could. Let's see. Okay. Because I was really sitting here today, like trying to figure out how I was gonna do this. And I made this whole diagram because for some reason, hold on, where is it? I want to show these notes because I know there's probably some people out there, they're like, oh my god, I'm so slow. I'm slow too when it comes to, and I like to okay, I think this is it. I was drawing pictures. Yeah, so here I was drawing all different types of pictures and stuff because I was trying to wrap my mind around like how I was actually going to do this and then use, because the whole point was for me to use objects, start using objects in more than in more ways than just regular like smegular degular objects. If that makes any sense. And so I sat here for about an hour and I was just listening to music and I was like, okay, well, okay, so let me break down this huge problem. And we need this first, and then we need this, and then we need that, and then we need that, and then I was thinking in my mind, how do we need this? And then sometimes I would overthink something, and so then I would go back and minimize it. I know to some people they would probably look at this and be like, "Well, this is a simple issue or whatever. You could just do this or that." I didn't know, and since this is my first time, I have to take my time, and I did, and I'm pretty, this was one of those challenges where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this one. It just seems like it's going to be a lot and blah, blah, blah. And I'm glad that I hunkered down and decided to do it anyway so I could just move right past it. Um, so, man. So, I guess tomorrow, how many days have I been on this? I was on the tip calc for 1, 2, 3 days, kind of. And so this one has been 1, 2. So yeah, we're on track. We're on track. We are on track. So what I'm thinking is that tomorrow it'll be Thanksgiving. I'll wake up in the morning. I'll start working on finishing this project because what I need to do is connect. No, second, third, or fourth issue. The fact that I looked up some ways to target this input box, and I don't think there's a specific way to target this checkbox. I mean, like, and to alter the checkbox that's already here. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna check again. But a lot of the solutions involve like creating a new box and positioning it absolutely in that element. And I'm like, what? Why are we able to create checkboxes but we can't edit them? I don't know. I could be wrong. But we need to connect this to. I'm sorry. I'm covering that. We need to connect this part to this right here. And I'm trying to figure out a way that I'm going to do that. Either way. Um, then we need to connect this to this so that this lights up. So there's a few things that I need to do. I'm going to clean it up. I will be finishing this tomorrow. Um, if you guys have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. And again, I appreciate y'all for watching these videos and listening to me yap about the code that's probably simple for y'all but hard for me. So thanks for coming with me on this JavaScript journey. And I will see y'all tomorrow where I will finish up this password generator. And then I think, what am I moving on to after that? Let's see. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I don't know what it is about this particular community, but I see that there's a lot of people who have a certain type of like mean girls attitude. Um, I don't see how that's productive. I don't see what the point of it is. And I think it's really sad that in a space that relies so heavily on collaboration, like especially when it comes to open source, that we would actively show like attitude or negativity towards certain people. And so if anybody's watching this, I hope y'all can find it in yourselves to be a bit more kind. Um, it's free. It doesn't cost too much. And that's all I want to say on that. But anyway, after the password generator app, there's going to be a front end quiz app. Uh, and then I'll be finished with the JavaScript fundamentals, and then we're going to do an introduction into web accessibility, which is something I definitely need. I saw this on a I look at a lot of job descriptions, and I saw this WCAG and key accessibility principles, the web content accessibility guidelines. I am going to go head first into that and read all of this because I think accessibility is important, and I want to, every time I'm looking up different um, guides on or courses on web development, accessibility comes up. So I really want to get accessibility down, and I think I want to review CSS Grid and CSS Flexbox because I learned some new things. Like I thought I understood flex strength, flex grow, flex bases, but there's some things I still need to clear up. So anyway, that's that. That is that. I will see you guys later. I'm gonna push this to GitHub and I'm gonna lay it on down. Y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful Thanksgiving. Bye bye.